On a night when the rain falls sideways and the wind howls through the chimneys like a lonely wolf, there is a small town nestled along a silver river. The cobblestones glisten like the backs of sleeping turtles, and every window glows a soft amber, as though each house holds a tiny sun behind its curtains. It is autumn, deep autumn, the kind where the leaves have already surrendered their red and gold, and now lie flat and dark along the gutters, whispering secrets to one another whenever the wind stirs them. The river is swollen tonight. It rushes and tumbles past the old stone bridge, lapping hungrily at the mossy walls, carrying twigs and acorns and small forgotten things downstream toward the sea. And somewhere along the riverbank, half buried in wet grass and trembling clover, there lies a single brass button. It is no ordinary button. It is round and smooth and warm to the touch, even in the cold rain. And if you hold it up to the lamplight, you can see a tiny stamped design on its face, a sword crossed with a laurel branch. This is the button from a uniform, a toy soldier's uniform. And though the soldier himself is gone, swept away by the swirling river just moments ago, tumbled and turned and carried off into the dark, the button remains. It gleams once softly, like a heartbeat made of gold. And then, as though waking from a long dream, it begins to move. It tilts, it wobbles. And with a gentle, determined roll, it leaves the riverbank behind and starts its journey through the sleeping town. Because this button remembers everything, it remembers bravery. Now, to understand the button, you must first understand the soldier it belonged to. He is a tin soldier, painted with great care, bright red coat, tall black boots, a rifle held steady against his shoulder, and a face so serious and so noble that even the other toys in the nursery look at him with quiet respect. He stands on a single tin base, straight and proud, and he belongs to a boy named Pedder, who lives in a crooked yellow house at the top of the hill. Pedder loves his soldier more than any other toy. He marches him across the windowsill. He whispers stories to him at bedtime. He tells the soldier about dragons and sea captains and castles made of clouds. And though the soldier never answers, for tin soldiers are quiet creatures, Pedder always feels, deep in his chest, that the soldier is listening. But tonight the storm changes everything. The window is left open, just a crack, and the wind reaches in like a long, invisible hand. It knocks the soldier from the sill. He falls not to the floor but outward down, bouncing off the rain gutter and tumbling through the stream of water that rushes along the cobblestones. The current takes him swiftly, spinning him around and around. And before Pedder even wakes, the soldier is carried through the iron grate at the end of the lane and swept into the great dark river below. He is gone. In the morning, Pedder searches everywhere. He looks under the bed, behind the bookshelf, inside every drawer. He runs outside in his stockings, calling for his soldier as though the wind might answer. But the rain has washed the streets clean, and there is no trace. Pedder's eyes fill with tears that he does not let fall, because he is trying, in his own small way, to be as brave as his soldier always looked. But his heart feels hollow, like a bell that has lost its sound. He does not know that the soldier left something behind. For when the tin soldier tumbled from the gutter, rolling and bouncing on the wet stone, the single brass button on his painted coat caught on the edge of a cobblestone and snapped free. It landed in the grass beside the river, and there it waited, patient and warm, until the night grew quiet enough for its journey to begin. Because sometimes, when a thing is loved deeply enough, even the smallest piece of it carries the whole story inside. The button rolls. It is such a small thing, no bigger than a penny, no heavier than an acorn cap, and yet it moves with a quiet certainty, as though it knows exactly where it needs to go. It follows the grooves between the cobblestones, catching the moonlight that breaks through the thinning clouds, and it hums. Not a sound you can hear with your ears, exactly, but a sound you feel in the warm center of your chest if you are standing close enough. A sound like a drumbeat, a sound like marching. The button rolls down the hill and along the lane where the baker's shop stands dark and flower-dusted. It wobbles beneath the green wooden door, crosses the cool tile floor, and comes to rest beside the baker's hand, which dangles from a chair where he has fallen asleep beside his cold oven. The baker is a tired man. He once dreamed of making the most magnificent cakes in all the land, towering creations with sugar roses and marzipan castles. But the years have worn him down. And now he bakes only plain loaves and says very little to anyone. His hands, once so bold and inventive, lie still and heavy. But when his fingertips brush the button in his sleep, something stirs. He dreams of standing tall. He dreams of facing a great wind and not stepping back. He dreams of frosting and fondant and the courage to try something beautiful again. A small smile crosses his face, and in the morning, he will wake with flour on his hands and a strange, wonderful feeling that he has forgotten something important, something good, and he will, for the first time in years, reach for his piping bag. The button does not stay, it has more hearts to visit. While the baker sleeps and smiles, the little brass circle catches a draft beneath the door and rolls back out into the moonlit street, turning left at the fountain, heading deeper into the town, carrying its golden memory forward. The button finds the seamstress next. Her name is Margit, and she lives above the apothecary in a room so full of fabric and thread that it looks like a garden made entirely of cloth. Bolts of velvet lean against the walls like sleeping trees. Ribbons hang from the ceiling like vines, but Margit has not sewn a stitch in weeks. Her hands shake, you see. They began trembling one morning and have not stopped, and she is certain, absolutely certain, that her gift is gone. The button rolls across her threshold, just as the moon finds her window. It comes to rest in the small carved dish where she keeps her thimbles, and it gleams there like a tiny fallen star. Margit does not wake, but her breathing changes. It grows deeper, calmer. And in her dream, she feels something she has not felt in a long time. She feels steady. She feels a pair of tin boots planted firmly on the ground, and a painted face that does not flinch even when the wind howls. And somewhere in that dream, her hands grow still. In the morning, she will pick up her needle and stitch a perfect seam, and she will not know why, but she will feel as though someone brave is standing beside her. The button rolls on. It travels through the town square, past the silent fountain where stone fish blow frozen streams of water into the basin, past the school with its dark windows and its smell of chalk and old wood. It finds the night watchman dozing in his wooden booth, and when it touches the sole of his boot, he dreams of standing guard not because he must, but because he chooses to, because there are people behind him worth protecting. He wakes with his lantern burning brighter, somehow, and a new firmness in his step. It finds the old woman who lives alone beside the church, the one who has not opened her curtains in a year because the world outside seems too loud, too fast, too frightening. The button slips beneath her door and rests beside her slippers, and she dreams of a tiny figure marching straight ahead into the dark. And in the dream, she follows. Just one step, just one, but it is enough. Everywhere the button goes, it leaves a trace of something warm and golden. Something that feels like standing up when you want to sit down. Like speaking when you want to stay silent. Like reaching out your hand when you are afraid it might be slapped away. It is courage, not the roaring, sword-swinging kind, but the quiet kind. The kind that lives in the chest like a candle flame, small but impossible to blow out. And still the button rolls, because it has not yet found the one it is truly looking for. The night deepens. The stars come out thick and bright, scattered across the sky like spilled sugar. The wind dies down to a whisper, and the button rolls up the hill, back toward the crooked yellow house at the top of the lane, back toward the open window that still creaks softly on its hinges, back toward Pedder. Pedder is not asleep. He sits on the floor of his room, his knees drawn up to his chin, staring at the empty space on the windowsill where his soldier used to stand. The moonlight falls across his face, and his eyes are red. And his chest aches with the particular sadness of losing something you love and knowing, truly knowing, that it is not coming back. He has searched everywhere. He has asked the rain and the gutters and the garden gate. He has pressed his face to the riverbank and whispered the soldier's name. But the river gives nothing back. It only rushes and hums and carries things away. And now Pedder feels something strange and heavy settling over his heart, like a grey wool blanket. He feels that maybe bravery is a thing that only belongs to soldiers and storybooks, and people much bigger than he is. He feels small, he feels forgotten. That is when he hears it, a tiny sound. A soft, metallic clink against the wooden floor. He looks down and sees the button. It has rolled across the room and come to rest against the side of his bare foot. And it is warm, so warm, as though it has been lying in a pocket next to a beating heart. Pedder picks it up and holds it to the moonlight, and he sees the tiny sword and the laurel branch, and he knows. He knows immediately. This is his soldier's button, and in that moment something extraordinary happens. Pedder feels it, he feels the whole journey. Not in pictures or words, but in warmth, a spreading golden warmth that begins in his fingertips and flows up through his arms and into his chest. He feels the baker's new courage, he feels Marget's steady hands. He feels the night watchman's proud stance and the old woman's single brave step. He feels all of it, every heart the button has touched, and he understands. His soldier is gone, but his soldier's bravery is not. It has been travelling. It has been working. It has been doing exactly what a good soldier does, marching forward, helping others, never giving up. Pedder closes his hand around the button and holds it against his heart. And the tears finally come, but they are not sad tears. They are the kind of tears that wash things clean and make the world look brighter afterward. The next morning is golden. The storm has passed, and the sky is so blue it looks painted. And the air smells of wet earth and wood smoke, and the first cold edge of winter. Pedder sits at his small wooden desk with a sheet of stiff paper, a pair of scissors, and a pot of red paint. Carefully, with steady hands and a serious expression that looks remarkably like a certain tin soldier's face, he cuts and folds and paints. He makes a paper soldier, not perfect, not grand, but proud and straight and true, with a red coat and tall boots and a face that is not afraid. And there, in the very centre of the paper soldier's chest, Pedder sews the brass button. It fits perfectly. It shines there like a medal, like a heart, like a tiny golden sun. And when Pedder places the paper soldier on the windowsill, right in the old spot where the moonlight will find him at night, he feels something settle inside himself, something warm and permanent, like a door closing gently on a room that is finally complete. The soldier is remembered, the courage lives on. And Pedder, small, gentle, quiet Pedder, carries it forward. Not because he is made of tin or painted with a brave face, but because he has learned the secret the button carried all along. That courage is never really lost. It only travels, looking for the next heart brave enough to hold it. The stars come out, the town grows quiet. And on a windowsill in a crooked yellow house, a paper soldier with a brass button heart stands watch through the long, peaceful night, and all is well.